Ah, traveler, you have returned once more. Come, sit close. The fire burns bright, but the night is darker than before. You have faced the trials of the elements, walked through fire, water, skies, earth, and air. You have proven yourself, but power alone is not enough. Strength means nothing without wisdom, and wisdom is only earned through the shadows. Tonight, I tell you of the next step in the journey. The path now leads to a place untouched by time, where the dead whisper and the trees remember. A place feared by kings and warriors alike, the haunted forest. The traveler knew of this place long before they set foot in its shadow, for all had heard the stories. Tales of spirits that never rested, of voices calling from between the trees, of paths that twisted and changed, leading wanderers astray until they were never seen again. Some said the forest was alive, others said it was cursed. Either way, no one who entered left unchanged. But the prophecy had spoken. The path to the celestial crown lay beyond the haunted forest. And so, the traveler pressed forward. As they approached the forest's edge, the air grew still. The wind, which had howled through mountains and valleys, refused to enter here. The trees stood tall, their trunks twisted, their bark dark as night. No leaves rustled, no birds sang. It was as if the forest held its breath, waiting. The traveler stepped across the threshold. Instantly, the world changed. The light dimmed, though the sun still hung in the sky. The shadows stretched longer than they should, reaching like fingers along the ground. The air smelled of damp earth, old wood, and something else, something wrong. They walked forward, each step measured, each breath careful. The deeper they ventured, the heavier the silence became. It pressed against their ears, against their skin, as if unseen eyes followed their every move. Then, the whispers began. At first, they were distant, barely more than a feeling. But as the traveler walked, they grew clearer. They were voices, speaking in languages long forgotten, words stretched and twisted by time. Some wept, some laughed, some called out names that had not been spoken in centuries. The traveler knew better than to answer. They walked on, then came the figures. At the edges of vision, shapes flickered between the trees. Not solid, not real, shadows, echoes of what once was. They moved without sound, without purpose, just watching, waiting. The traveler's heart pounded, but they did not falter. They knew the test had begun. The haunted forest was not a place of brute force, nor of endurance. It did not test strength or speed. It tested the soul. It whispered fears, unearthed memories, placed doubt where certainty once stood. It made one question: who they were, why they walked this path, if they were truly meant for it. For hours, perhaps days, the traveler wandered. The trees never changed. The path never stayed the same. The stars above, when visible through the thick canopy, shifted in ways they should not. Time unraveled, reality bent. Then, at last, they reached the heart of the forest. Before them stood a great ancient tree, its roots gnarled and thick, its bark carved with runes glowing faintly in the darkness. The air around it was heavy, filled with unseen energy. This was no ordinary tree. This was the resting place of the spirits. The traveler stepped closer, and the air grew colder. The whispers swelled louder surrounding them. And then, from the hollow within the tree, a figure emerged. Not a ghost, not a mortal being, but something in between. the guardian of the forest. Its face was obscured, its form shifting like mist caught in moonlight. Its voice, when it spoke, was many voices at once, old and young, male and female, sorrowful and wise. "You have entered a place of memory," it said. "Here the past is never forgotten. Here the dead still speak." The traveler did not run. They did not speak. They only listened. The guardian stepped forward, lifting a hand, and the world around them shifted. Suddenly, the traveler was no longer in the forest. They were elsewhere, somewhere familiar, yet impossibly distant. A scene from their past, playing out before them, a moment they had long buried. They saw themselves younger before the journey had begun, before the prophecy, before destiny had claimed them. They saw their doubts, their fears, the choices they had made, the people they had left behind. And then the voices spoke. "Do you remember why you walk this path? Do you remember who you are? Will you carry the past or let it carry you?" The traveler trembled. The weight of memory, of everything they had once been, threatened to pull them under. This was the true test, not to fight, not to endure, but to face oneself. To accept what had come before, without letting it define what would come next. They took a breath, then another, and they answered. The vision faded. The forest returned. The guardian stood before them, silent, watching. "You have faced the past," it said. "Now you may walk forward." The travelers stepped past the ancient tree, past the spirits that watched in silence, past the memories that could no longer hold them. The haunted forest released them. As they emerged from the shadows, the stars burned bright above. The path to the celestial crown still stretched before them, but they had passed the trial. Yet even as they left the forest behind, they knew one thing to be true. Somewhere in the darkness, the spirits still whispered, and they would never forget.